Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bob's Bookshelf. I'm your host, Bob. Today, a terrific book from the National Gallery of Art in Steidl, Looking in Robert Frank's The Americans. Robert Frank died back in early September. And since this is one of my favorite books, I thought it'd be a good time to go through and show this really remarkable book from the National Gallery and from Steidl that is a book about a book. So this book is about the book, The Americans, which was made in the late 50s by the photographer Robert Frank. So a little bit more about Robert Frank. Paraphrasing here from the New York Times obituary, Frank was one of the most influential photographers of the 20th century. And born in Switzerland, he came to New York when he was 23, and he's best known for his groundbreaking book, The Americans. The Americans is a catalog of a project of him crisscrossing the United States in the mid-1950s. It was first published in France in 1958, and then in the United States in 1959. Reading specifically from the Times, the Americans challenged the presiding mid-century formula for photojournalism, defined by sharp, well-lighted, classically composed pictures, whether of the battlefront, the homespun American heartland, or movie stars at leisure. Mr. Frank's photographs of lone individuals, teenage couples, groups at funerals, and odd spores of cultural life were cinematic, immediate, off-kilter, and grainy, like early television transmissions of the period. This is a remarkable book and exquisitely produced. The subject matter is amazing, and the design is fantastic. So let's pin the image and begin. Okay. So here we go. Excuse me. All right. So here we are, Robert Frank's The Americans, Looking in. This is the expanded edition, because if you're going to do this, you got to go all in. This is on a little band. I always take these off because they get destroyed almost instantly. So beautiful band across the middle. This is already indicating the structure of the book all the way through. You can see on the edge of the book block that this line is continued all the way around up to the front. Spine is a lovely asymmetrically designed spine. Beautiful oversized flaps. Lovely end papers of Frank's letter. Blank stamping of the title on the cover, and then black stamping on the spine. Really beautiful. Okay, so let's begin. Half title. And then the designer, I'm sorry, who I didn't mention yet, Margaret Bauer, of Washington, D.C., has this terrific sort of cinematic sequence of images at the front preceding the title page. All right, just lovely. Looking in, here's this guy looking. He's holding a brochure that says Awake. It's like he's the thesis statement for the book itself. Lovely little touch here, expanded edition running vertically between these bits of type here. And then a nice content spread with the different sections delineated in different ways. So this is really masterfully done by the designer, Margaret Bauer. So we have our sections here. They are pulled out again over here. So 1, Zurich to New York, 1, Zurich to New York. And then within this, there's a sort of sub table of contents. And then further, there's an image that is associated with each one. So 1, 1, 1, 118, 118, 174, 174, 312, 312, 312. Really gorgeous and smart, and inventive as a way of solving this particular problem. So we go through and immediately we see the structure of the book, this band that goes through, that's delineated on the edges by a red band. Picks up here as well. All right. And then the book begins. So it takes this stripe orientation to set us up with the structure. Really nice little detail here of the descenders on the old style character numerals dipping below. That's really nice. And then here is the sort of sub contents for the section, which ties back to the contents page. If I can find it, there we go. So resisting intelligence, Zurich to New York, and there it is again. So in a book this long and with material this complex, it's really important to pay a lot of attention to the different ways that the reader might navigate the book. So, reiterating the different entry points that the reader might use can be very, very helpful. All right. So then we get into the essay here. Along the edges, it's the running footer running vertically, the folio running horizontally, and then the time range of years running vertically again. I'll hold this up so you can see it. I don't know how well it's going to focus, but there you go. Okay. And then it goes through. What's really nice is how inventive the designer is in making these spreads. The spreads just don't repeat. There's something fresh every time in terms of the way that these pages are composed. Also quite lovely is the way that the figure captions are dealt with. They float down in this space here. And then rarely does an image break this line. I suspect there was a fit problem somewhere. Okay, so it goes through like this. And again, we get all of these different images. So we're going to jump ahead here. And here's the opening to the plate section for this first essay section. So the way the book is structured is there will be essays, then there will be a plate section associated with the essays. So in here we have just images. Again, this line that has been determined already continues across the top, but now instead of it being this consistent stripe, it becomes a hang line that things drop down from. Also, the images come out from the center, as they are here. Okay. So really quite lovely. All right, let's jump ahead a little bit. Really beautiful printing by Steidl. The density of the blacks is really terrific while still holding the shadow detail. It really makes the images just look so beautiful. Okay, let's jump ahead to the next section. So 1955 to 1957, the Guggenheim Fellowship. Again, the reiterated table of contents down here for this section. And then once again, the essay begins and runs through. Okay. So nicely done. Pull quotes, break up fields of text. It's the first American edition of the book, The Americans. That's what it looked like. Okay, so let's jump ahead Sorry. All right, here's the plate section to the Guggenheim Fellowship. Here the images are centered. This is a nice touch. These are the work prints from that body of work. So it's great to see these all together. Work prints and better yet, proof sheets can give you a sense of how the photographer is thinking about a body of work and how to organize it. Yeah, terrific. Okay, and then this is the section on the Americans. So these are the essays associated with that, with their various figures. And then we get to here. Here's the plates for the Americans. So this, in a sense, is a republished version of the book. So this is the center part of the book that we're here to see, in a sense. So these are the photographs from the Americans. And what I don't know is if this is the same sequence and edit as the original book. I don't know. Okay. So we get through there. And then the next section is called Destroying the Americans. So Frank made this groundbreaking body of work early in his career, and he spent the rest of his career, in a sense, reacting against it and then doing other kinds of work as well. All right, let's jump ahead to some of the back matter that makes this book really rich and beautiful and interesting. So this is a map and chronology of where Frank went and when as part of his trips, documenting the United States, shooting the photographs that would become the Americans. There are 3 lines in different colors that give us a time period. The different colors are probably not going to show up so well on the video, but there's a red line here that is from late June to mid-July 1955. There's a goldenrod colored line here that indicates the summer of 1955. And then this blue line that runs all the way across the country indicates October 1955 to early June 1956. So almost an entire year. And then on this side, we have this running chronology of what Frank was doing and when. And this is just beautifully delineated in a very simple and elegant way with color and weight of the typefaces. Okay, here's all that kind of stuff here. All right, this is probably the most interesting part of the book for photographers. These are the contact sheets from the Americans. So, excuse me. So back in the late 50s, obviously, Frank was shooting film. There were no digital cameras yet. There were no iPhones, certainly. So he was shooting film. And when you shoot film, you don't see the result of the picture until the film is developed. When the film is developed, they are made into contact sheets, which look like this. So this is the strip of the film with all the frames. They are contact printed onto a piece of photographic paper. And then the photographer uses these contact sheets as a way to do their initial edit. All right, so that's what all these markings are about. And what's interesting is you can go through and you can see certain pictures that made the book, certain pictures that are iconic. You can see the frames around that picture. What else did he shoot at the same time? All right, so these are very, very, very interesting to see. Sometimes he gets something, sometimes he doesn't. Like this roll, nothing. Okay. A lot of rules of film. So the challenge here for the photographer is to recognize the best pictures, figure out how to organize them, understand what the project is before them, what is it that they've seen, what is it that they've discovered. This is not easy to do out of a sea of pictures like this. Okay. All right. This is also very interesting. This looks at the different editions of the book, The Americans, and how the crops of the images change over time. So Frank changed his mind about certain things as he went through. Okay. So really fascinating documentary material here. All right, let's continue on. Okay. Lovely index, done in a beautiful way, just with color, typeface. And then the end papers back here, a detail of one of Frank's letters. The back flap, different from this detail of a contact sheet. Just lovely. So many beautiful, beautiful details in this book. So as a designer, I love this book, but also as someone who takes photography very seriously as part of my own work, this book is a treasure with many lessons about photography and design, bookmaking, typography, the whole works. It's really a terrific thing. All right, so there you go. Looking in, Robert Frank's The Americans, published by the National Gallery of Art and Steidl in 2009, designed by Margaret Bauer. Thanks a bunch, and we'll see you next time.